What's up guys, this is Chris from Honest Outlaw here, and today we're going to be talking about a really cheap gun. This is the Stoeger STR-9C. It's actually the compact version of the Stoeger STR, which was on the channel last year, which we'll get into here in a little bit. Before we get in this video, I want to thank my Patreon supporters. Because of you guys, I got to purchase this gun. I purchased this gun with the Patreon dollars at my local store, so I appreciate that. If you want to join the Patreon squad, all you got to do is go to the link in the description, sign up. Get some exclusive content and some other cool stuff over there. Just go over there and check it out. Also want to mention a local shelter in Ames, Iowa. The YSS is a group that I try to support in every video. Well, those kids could really use your help, and I'd really appreciate if you go down there, click the link in the description, go to the donate page, just donate a few bucks. Doesn't take long, it's a really good cause. Before we get into the Stoeger STR-9, there might be a little background noise because I'm smoking some ribs and I don't want to turn it off for the video, so my bad. That's actually my smoker that's making that sound. Other than that, the Stoeger STR-9C was a deal that I saw at my local store that I just couldn't pass up. I get a lot of people requesting guns like this, and this one in particular has a lot of cool features and looks like a premium gun, so it's one of those guns that a lot of people buy, because why the hell would you buy a Glock when you can get this for like $250? And I'm not joking about that. Still, as of 2021, these are between $250 and $300. I got mine for around $250, making it one of the cheaper semi-automatic 9mm you can actually get, which is obviously extremely attractive to especially new shooters, but anybody really wanting to get into the pistol game. The 9mm compact is probably the most ubiquitous universal gun that you can buy as far as self-defense goes. It's big enough to fight with, small enough to carry, and it's got a pick rail on it so you can use it for home defense, but you can take that rail, or you can take that light off if you want to use it for concealed carry, or you can carry it with a light. It really depends on what you decide you want to do with it. Coming in the 9mm cartridge is probably the most readily available. That's really saying something, but it's probably the most available, cheapest full handgun cartridge, and it's got a lot of advantages over most other handgun rounds, which is why it's the most popular, obviously. So it's going to be the easiest to get. It's got the most defensive ammo, and then semi-automatic pistols are the most popular design of pistols for a good reason. This is a striker-fired semi-automatic with a 3.8-inch barrel, and I think it has 24-ounce overall weight, making it like the perfect size and weight for carry, duty, all that sort of thing, if you're looking for a do-it-all pistol. People getting into the pistol game for the first time, that's always what they want. They only want to buy one handgun. They want to spend as little as possible because they're not going to shoot it very much, or they're just going to stow it somewhere, something like that. And this is usually the philosophy of use that this pistol generally falls in, and for that, I think it does pretty well. Now, these guns are extremely budget-oriented guns, so even though they look like they're the same quality as, let's say, an M&P 2.0 or a CZP-10C, the reality is they just don't have the long-term durability, track record, and aftermarket support and all that stuff that those popular guns are going to have. But what they do have is an extremely reduced price and sort of a lack of features that most people don't want anyway. And what I mean by that is the Stoeger STR-9 does come with a backstrap system, but it only comes with the single backstrap. You can't change it. So even though they're modular, it doesn't come with it right out of the box. It comes with just one magazine, the 13-round magazine, which is a real downside, especially for anybody who shoots a lot. Compared to common guns this size, you usually get a 15-round magazine capacity, so you get two less with the Stoeger, and again, you only get the one mag. Now, there's unforeseen downsides with one magazine, and that's not just the fact that you're not going to be able to reload, or you're not going to be able to have a very long range day without reloading every time you shoot, but that's also malfunction clearance and things like that. If you have a malfunction with this pistol, most malfunctions are caused by the magazine or ammunition, and the best way to fix that is get rid of the mag, get a fresh one in there. Well, you're not going to have that unless you go online to buy aftermarket magazines, because these aren't for sale anywhere you buy guns generally. Another issue with the magazine is that the magazines, especially on budget style guns, can be defective from the factory, believe it or not. So if you have an issue with the magazine spring, follower, base plate, anything like that, which is relatively common, if you're gonna have a malfunction with your gun, again, often magazine related, you only have one magazine, so you're just gonna have a gun that doesn't work until you're able to find other magazines. So that's a real downside of the gun in the first place. On top of that, you do have front slide serrations, a pick rail, and you've got some pretty decent ergonomics, but you're gonna fall short with some sighting options and things like that. And I'm not aware of any aftermarket sighting options for the Stoeger, but they definitely might exist. The trigger pull on the Stoeger isn't too bad. It's the same trigger pull as the full size, which really isn't that bad for the money that you're paying for it. Magazine release is a little bit sticky, but works fairly well. So does the slide release. Overall, it gives you some of the features you're gonna get with a quality pistol, but it lacks magazines and it lacks aftermarket support, and it also lacks long-term durability. At least the previous full-size Stoeger that I had. The reason why you didn't see a 1,000-round review of that, and I do have a video on it coming up, is because it actually completely broke down around the 400 to 500 round mark, and we have yet to get it fixed, and we've actually yet to get contact back with Stoeger. When I do contact companies, I often contact them with my real name, not Honest Outlaw, and that's for a couple of reasons, but mainly so I can get the same experience that you guys would get. When you have a social media company designed around reviewing firearms, at some point when you get enough subscribers, people generally catch on, and they will kind of give you a little favoritism when it comes to fixing mistakes on firearms and things like that. Ask Springfield. But my point is that when I'm dealing with Stoeger, if I were to come up with them and say I'm the Honest Outlaw and I'm doing videos on them that would get 30, 40,000 views, they would be a lot more likely to fix my pistol, I guarantee. However, that would not be the experience that you guys as the viewer would get, so I will wait and see what they say, if they get back to me at all. And if they don't get back to me, that's a pretty good indication that you probably shouldn't get the pistol either. So overall, we'll go and shoot the STR-9C, and hopefully it fares a little bit better than the larger counterpart. As I said, the bigger one shot really well. It just didn't have very good reliability, and then it broke. The trigger system completely broke, so the trigger doesn't reset anymore, and it won't even pull anymore either, which obviously doesn't help with disassembly and all that stuff. So we'll go shoot it and find out. All right, so we got the STR-9C out here at 50 yards, and we're gonna shoot the first shots out of it ever and just kind of see where we hit. The iron sights are obviously drift left to right, but the elevation is non-adjustable, so we're gonna get what we're gonna get, and that's the story of iron sights, of course. Well, that didn't take very long. Well, we had one malfunction. The round just got hung up on the feed ramp a little bit. That's pretty common, especially with guns like this. Probably doesn't have a polished feed ramp inside of it. Also, budget guns require a bit of a break-in. Guns like the CZs, which I absolutely love, they're broken in right away in the factory, Wilson Combat, stuff like that. However, cheaper guns, Canik, Stoeger, High Point, even the Beretta APXs, stuff like that, require a little bit of break-in period. So if we have a couple of hang-ups here and there in the first 100 rounds, can't fault it too much. So you just be aware of that. All right, we switched up our position a little bit here. Ooh, and we'll shoot at 50 again here, see if we can get some more hits. Hitting low. Most of the time, right-handers will shoot low and left. So when I'm shooting low, I generally assume I'm hitting low left as well, but this time I'm kind of hitting near there. I mean, 50 yards, I normally don't shoot. It's shooting about a foot low, so I probably have to adjust with the sights. And I'm actually off the right of the target a little bit, which makes me wonder if I'll have to drift the sights a little bit when we're done with this. All right, now this is kind of a good time to point out just the amazing ability from like manufacturers to get mechanical accuracy with modern pistols. I mean, honestly, imagine even like 20, 30 years ago trying to hit with a $250 handgun at 50 yards, or whatever the equivalent of that would have been 20 years ago, let's say a $150 handgun. It's actually impressive that guns even this cheap are as accurate as they are. I mean, it's an accurate pistol, that's for sure. I mean, the only reason why I'm missing a couple here and there is just because I'm trying to go a little too fast, or my fundamentals are not on point. The trigger isn't the worst trigger I've ever felt. It reminds me a lot of like a Gen 3 Glock. Very, very similar to a Gen 3 Glock. A little bit longer reset than I'm accustomed to. As you can see there, it keeps going, then it lets out and it goes. And I'm a little out of practice, so it's more me than the gun. It's actually a really accurate gun. All right, now we're at about 25 yards here, and we will just see what we can plink off here. We'll increase the speed a little bit. It's fast. All those hits are right in the middle. Yeah, it's a good shooting pistol. That's for sure.
Are you surprised?
I am actually, yeah. I really am. I mean, lately, we've been let down a few times in a row. I mean, if durability holds out, if you were to tell me it's either this or the HK P30 we just shot, which is double the price, this one shoots better than the P30 does. Adversely though, the P30 is gonna be guaranteed more durable and reliable because that's kind of what HK does, so. So now we are at 10-yard line, and we'll just pile off some rounds here. It's more of a self-defense, home defense style situation, close quarters, quick kind of thing. No lock back on the last mag, but shoots fast. You are on. You don't mess around, do you? Let's do another one, shall we?
Sure. You're gonna run.
No, you're not gonna run. All right, so we're gonna do a drill here. We're gonna double tap drill. So what I want you to do is stand sideways, kind of this way. Turn more, turn more, turn more. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna turn towards target on the left, the farthest target on the left. And when I say go, you're gonna turn toward him, acquire the target, shoot 2 rounds. So it's a double tap drill with a little bit of a turn. That way you add some body movement to it, which is more realistic.
You picked a day I'm not in a good mood to do this, but I guess we'll do it.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Okay.
When I say go, you'll give him 2.
Am I gonna have the gun ready, or am I putting it into battery? Yeah, you have it loaded and ready. Yep. Okay. Okay.
All right, when I say go, give him 2, Utah. Give him 2.
Okay.
And go. Nice. All right. And go. All right.
I'm getting real good, huh?
Yeah, you are.
You thought I was gonna be bad.
All right, next time give the dude on the left 2 and the dude on the right 2 if he's got a buddy. Spread the love. And go. There you go. Most important part about drills is not getting frustrated, and if you miss, have a makeup shot, because in real life, he's not just gonna have you reset.
Uh-huh.
So, all right, do one more time and go.
Oh, I'm out. But I got him.
Yeah, you did. If he's still in there, he ain't happy. So now we're gonna shoot the STR-9C at 75 yards. Now that I'm warmed up a little bit, and we should be able to hit it with any luck anyway. We got some pretty good groups at 50 yards, so. No lock back yet. That's my big dumb thumb riding the slide release that time for sure. So it probably was the first time as well. So far pretty good. I mean, 75 yards with a $250 handgun, that's pretty good. All those misses were my bad. The trigger is a little bit harder to manipulate than something obviously like a 1911 or a PPQ or a PDP or VP9 or Canic or anything like that, but you're gonna expect that from a cheaper gun. The Canics are cheaper, but they are pre-cocked strikers, which allow them to have a lot better trigger. Overall though, I think the only thing really impeding me at 75 yards is gonna be these big old blocky combat sights, but let's be honest, these guns are not made to shoot at 75 yards. They're made to be shoot relatively fast and accurate up close, 0 to 25 meters, and in that case, this gun really does excel. The ergonomics work really well. The trigger's pretty good. The grip feels good, and overall the gun's very shootable. especially considering the price of the gun. Got really every accessory you're going to need other than a couple of spare mags out of the box, and it's hard to say that you could do any better than this for the price that this is. Now, forewarning, there are probably what I would consider more durable options that are just as reliable and shootable that we'll get into right now. Now, I'm not saying that this gun isn't going to be durable and long lasting. However, the previous version of this, the large version I had, was not. So if you're watching this video and you're looking for a $250 gun that you can count on, $300 gun that you can count on that's still around that price, I just did want to mention the Beretta APX Centurion. Now, it's uglier than the Stoeger, that's for sure. Maybe not quite as good of ergonomics overall, but it does have a better trigger, has a significantly better track record. This particular gun here was borrowed by a buddy of mine who shot about 500 rounds through it. So now the gun has a grand total of around 2,000 rounds through it. I bought it for a little under $300, and it is perfect with zero malfunctions. The gun not only lasts, is durable, it's reliable. However, it comes from a company like Beretta, which has a track record of absolute excellence. It's the oldest gun company in the world, and it makes some of the finest pistols and rifles and shotguns in the world. So if it were me and I was betting my life on one of these two, I would definitely go the APX, since I think reliability, durability is paramount. However, the Stoeger so far with 100 rounds has had one malfunction, which you could attribute to break-in period, and then a larger version of it also completely broke down, although this one did not. And I keep mentioning that because I just wanted you to be aware of that during this video, because I haven't been able to do another video on the Stoeger. That might be kind of a 2-for-1 thing, but just to warn you that this may not be what it's all cracked up to be, and that's oftentimes because of budget gun QC. A lot of things fall to the wayside when you get a couple $100s off a gun, and some of that is not magazine, some of that is not overall looks and accessories, but it's often quality control, quality of parts, things like that. And that's why those guns end up having long-term durability issues, is because the quality of materials used inside the firearm are often not as good. Now, if you're buying this gun to put it up in a shoebox or stick it in your car or something like that, and you're never going to shoot it for as long as you own it, this is a pretty good pistol. If you're going to put 10,000 rounds through it a year, though, I would maybe look for something that's going to be long-term, a little more durable. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please help out your local homeless shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later.
Okay, so one thing that I want to mention about the Stoeger STR-9C. First of all, thank you, Stoeger, for putting the entire name on it so I can just read it right off the gun. Normally, I do not like aggressive texture on my guns. I have these tender hands. You know, he's got the rough hands, I got the tender hands, so the aggressive texture bothers me normally. But for some reason, with this one, it has like a two different types of texture. Less aggressive on the sides and more aggressive on the back strap. And I feel like that really worked. I feel like when I was shooting it, it was a little bit jumpier because it's a smaller gun than I'm used to shooting. I typically only like to shoot heavy guns and 1911s and 2011s and things like that. But the more aggressive texture on the back strap really helped it stay in my hand so that I could retain the accuracy. So that was one thing that jumped out to me that the Outlaw didn't mention, so I just wanted to give you my opinion on that. Overall, I thought it was a relatively enjoyable gun to shoot compared to some of the other compact guns that we've shot recently. And you all liked my little ending to the last one, so I figured I'd give my opinion too. Check you later.
I'm waiting for the car.
What car? Oh. You the car whisperer?
I am.
All I can hear is the smoker.
And then he just drives away.